Good morning. Today is Thursday, April 30th, 2020. And last night I listened to a lecture by Dr. David Pelkovitz, an amazing expert and wonderful person, on the subject of anxiety, worry, fear, depression. And I found his words very inspiring, number one, and also he offered very, very practical help. And over the next number of days at different opportunities, I hope to share different parts of his wisdom with you. And today, I'd like to share just one of the lessons that he taught and a story that goes along with it. So he told this story that there was a rabbi in Yerushalayim, a well-known rabbi, and every Rosh Chodesh, so the beginning of each Jewish month, he would come into the lobby of the Shaarei Tzedek Hospital in Yerushalayim, and he would stand in the lobby for about 3 hours. Now, of course, he would come into the hospital other times during the month to visit people for various reasons, but on Rosh Chodesh specifically, he would come in and he would stand, and he would not go inside, just at the lobby, and stand there, apparently doing nothing. He didn't talk to anyone. He didn't, standing there for about 3 hours. And at first, people would see him. They would come up to him. Are you lost? Do you need directions? Can I help you? And then people started, after a while, because it was so predictable, that they would recognize that he was doing something, and they would just wonder, what in the world is this rabbi doing on Rosh Chodesh every month, standing without doing anything? So finally, somebody got the chutzpah to go over to him and to say, Rebbe, could you please explain, why is it that on Rosh Chodesh you come here and you stand in the lobby of the hospital, you don't go inside, and you just stand there for 3 hours? What's going on? What are you doing? So the rabbi said, I'll explain it to you as follows. He said, I know, and I actually spoke about this a couple of months ago in a slightly different context. I know it's very easy to be grateful to someone who does a chesed, a kindness for you, when it's unexpected. So somebody out of the blue brings you a gift. You're very grateful. Somebody comes along and sees that you need help changing your tire, and they stop and they help you change your tire. You're very grateful. It's a chesed, it's a kindness. We're grateful, we recognize it. It's much harder to be grateful to those that we owe the most to. It's much harder to show even the same level of gratitude to our own spouse or our own parent that we would show to a stranger who comes and does something for us. And the reason for that, there are a couple of reasons, but one of the reasons for that is because we are habituated. Our spouse does things for us all the time. So one more chesed, we are habituated, we're used to it, it's normal, and we take it for granted. Our parents do things for us all the time, our whole lives. So one more act of kindness, one more favor, we're habituated, we take it for granted. And this is true in every area of life and in every subject of life. So the rabbi said, once a month on Rosh Chodesh, I need to reset my gratitude clock. I come into the hospital, I stand in the lobby, and the only thing I do is I look at all of the signs leading to all of the different departments in the hospital. So I see a sign, and by the way, I'm not suggesting that we do this in a literal manner because we can't go into the hospital right now, but take the idea. So he says, I stand in the lobby, and I see the sign that points to the direction of neurology. And I think to myself, Baruch Hashem, I do not have a neurological problem. I have competence. My brain is working. I don't have the difficulty and the suffering that comes along with a brain injury, with a deteriorating condition. Baruch Hashem. And then I look at the sign for cardiology. And I think to myself, wow, it's amazing. My heart is working. I'm feeling okay. I'm able to walk. I'm able to go around. I don't have a cardiac problem. Baruch Hashem. And then I see the sign for gastroenterology. And I think to myself, thank God, my plumbing is working. It's all going the way it should go. I'm so appreciative. And I look at department by department. Maybe some of those things, he does have certain issues, but department by department. And I think to myself how grateful I am that I don't have that condition, that I don't need that department. And he says, I feel the gratitude for everything that is working. And I focus on that gratitude. And then after about 3 hours, I feel recharged. I'm recharged for another 30 days. After 30 days go by, it becomes habituated again, and it's hard to take it it's easier to take it for granted and hard to remember it. So I come back every Rosh Chodesh. It's a tremendously important idea to build in some kind of a structure to not become habituated to all of the wonderful things that are going right, even when there are things that are going very wrong, even possibly, God forbid, tragically wrong. So here's a practical suggestion. It's a practical suggestion, but it needs a new name. So the practical suggestion is that Dr. Pelkowitz suggested is that you have to build it somehow into the structure of your life. So a suggestion is to have every Friday night at the Shabbos table, to have a count your blessing exercise. I think it needs a new name, because if you say to your spouse or your child or whoever or even to yourself, okay, we're going to do your count your blessing exercise, I think maybe a new name would be better. But the idea is Friday night at the Shabbos table, say out loud, and again, it's important, and even if you're by yourself, to verbalize, to say the words out loud. One thing from this week that I'm grateful for, one thing that I did to help someone else, and one chesed, one act of kindness that I received from someone else. Whether it's on Rosh Chodesh, whether it's at the Shabbos table, whether it's on a daily basis, but to somehow build into the fabric of our regular lives this opportunity to not become habituated to what is going right. That is a key component to allaying and lessening, reducing anxiety and fear and distress, especially at this time. I'm trying it for myself. I hope that you will try it for yourself. Let me know what works for you, and I want to wish you all a very happy day.